What's up, my people? What's up, my people? This is your boy Vanara Scott, the KillaKrane himself. It is September the 6th at 2024 to him. What is going on, my peeps? Woo! Let me first start off by apologizing for not doing a promo video this week. I didn't do a promo poster. I didn't do anything. I have been super busy doing many different projects, guys. You would not imagine how busy I've been. But ooh, I will always make time for you guys to do this show at least once a week. If I don't do a podcast, that means I'm saturated with way too much stuff. If you guys want to join in today, the link is in the description. It should be, whether you're on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, it does not matter. The link should be on there. If you cannot find the link, please let me know. If you're on Facebook, just message me. If you're on YouTube, send a comment there. It'll come directly here. Excuse me. The topic to today will be beyond the mundane. Now, mundane meaning stuff that we can all agree with. That's my definition of mundane, the way I'm using it today. So, you know, do cell phones work? You know, just anything that all of us can agree on. You know what I'm saying? But there are certain things that are super controversial among us. Now, most recently, and I'll say within the last 10 years, from what I've seen from social media, and it kind of threw me by surprise, is that, and I'm sure the Flat Earth Society has been around for a while, but I just most recently have been seeing, within the last 10 years, a fluctuation of posts where people believe that the earth is flat and the earth has a dome and there is this thing called a firmament instead of having things in outer space, and that people didn't believe that the moon landing was real, all of these things, which is going to segue us into the next topic, which is conspiracy theories. I have a whole list of those, and I'm going to go through those conspiracy theories, and I want to see if you guys believe in any of those, or do you have something to add to the list. Also, I'm going to talk about Dr. Sebi. Now, many people have probably never heard of him. A lot of us have, especially us Black people. He's the one who proclaimed that he has all natural cures for things like HIV, um, herpes, all these STDs, high blood pressure, cancer. He says that he can cure cancer and all of these things. Well, he's no longer with us, but he said before he passed away, he made a lot of claims, and there are some people, including the singer, rapper, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. My condolences to her family. I know she died in the early 2000s, but she proclaimed that he even cured her of herpes simplex virus. It was either one or two. So I don't know how true those things are, but that's what Dr. CB proclaimed. There's a lot of people who will, really swear up and down that his cures help them as well, including, if I'm not mistaken, the actor, and he's also a rapper, Nick Cannon. He is making a documentary about Dr. CB. And he's doing his own research into seeing whether there were legitimate claims. And Dr. Sebi, if I'm not mistaken, before I pull up the article, he claimed that he cured a number of people of HIV, and the judge told him to bring at least one person who he's cured, and he bought like dozens of them. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into that. I also want to end the discussion on a discussion of religion versus spirituality. Now, that is something that has been highly debated. There's a number of people, and I'm not supporting either way, but there's a lot of people from what I've known that have switched over from organized religion to spirituality. Now, the first question that I have is, how do you define spirituality? Okay. How is it different than religion? We're going to discuss those things today. So, if you guys want to join in, um, there are a couple of individuals. Since I pretty much did this last minute, I didn't announce that I was going to, unless I announce that I'm not going to do one, I will do a podcast. And so I just made the post, I would say at about 4 o'clock today. I have to look at my Facebook page and see when I actually made that post. But yes, and I had the idea for this podcast right when we got through with the last one. Oh, and on top of that, conspiracy theories. I want to also talk about we did this before, what's called the Mandela effect. And so it's like, things that we thought for the longest, and it was in our memories that certain things were how they were. But then we see pictures of it nowadays, and it seems to have changed. Like how you spell the Berenstain Bears, um, the monocle, did the Monopoly Man, the icon for the Monopoly Man, did he wear a monocle, which is just a one eyeglass piece? It has a little string attached to it. Did he wear one or not? So a lot of people swear by it, but if you look at, even if you get an original box that's been sitting in your attic and a Monopoly board game, and you look at it, and you be like, wait a minute, he doesn't have a monocle. I could swear that the Monopoly Man had a monocle. You know what I'm saying? And certain phrases that are in movies that we always thought were there. Some of them are kind of minute. One of my favorite ones, well, one of my favorite movie genre of all time is Star Wars. No secret there. Now, if you listen, everybody thought that the phrase spoken by Darth Vader. Spoiler alert, if you've been living under a rock for the last 40 plus years, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's son. And when he popped that news to him, a lot of people thought he said, Luke, I am your father, but that's actually not true. He actually said, no, I am your father. Little something minute. But anyway, we can get into those. So I'm going to need some guests. We have two usual people that usually come, but like I said, since it was last minute, I'll wait around and see if they will be. Um, Let me check the comments real quick. None so far, but I just started off. So if you guys want to join in, give me a comment. Like I said, look in the description, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to give a shout out before I get started. Happy birthday to my nephew, King. Happy birthday, nephew. God, I wish I could be back in Mississippi right now. My condolences to the Powell family in Clarksdale, Mississippi. I hate to turn from something happy to something sad. They lost one of their family members. I'm not exactly sure the the conditions around how he passed away, but my condolences to that family. And there was another individual that died. I didn't know him. That's why I just didn't memorize his name. And I wish I had posted a picture here. This just popped in my head. But I just want to say condolences to his family. Again, I know that I said this on the last podcast. The condolences to the family of BC Gibson. He was one of my favorite teachers. He was my dad's friend. My condolences to you guys. Also, the condolences to the school in Georgia. There was 4 individuals that were shot and killed due to the school shooting. My condolences goes to those people. Um, and I apologize that I don't have the names of the school and all those things, but you guys can put it in the comment section, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Okay. So let's get started. If you want to join in, click on the link, send me a message, whatever. I will be checking periodically if you want to join in. So let's get into the first part. And I apologize if we get some people in here and I have to go over this stuff again. But of course, we're going to talk about the flat earthers. So, I jumped the gun there a little bit. This thing is hair triggered. So, most of us, the popular belief is that the earth is a sphere. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, is the earth round or flat? That is a little bit of a misnomer by calling it round, because you can have a flat earth and it can be round like a plate. A plate is round, okay, but it's still flat. So you should say either flat or a sphere. Now, most of us believe that the earth is a sphere, and it's held up by gravity, which is under the our sun's gravity. It goes around it once a year, 364 and some change. A lot of people say 365, but it's actually 364 and some change. That's how many days it takes for the Earth to go around the sun, and it spins on its axis every 23 and some change. But it's actually okay. I'm just checking comments right quick. But anyway, there's a society of people who do not believe that is true. They believe that the earth is flat. And here's the picture that I was going to put up here. Right here, the firmament. Let me see if I can move this stuff at the bottom right here. Hold on, the banner. Okay, there we go. So as you guys can see, the earth is pretty much flat at the bottom. The earth has a dome around it called the floodgates, or the whole thing is called a firmament. The sky is called a firmament. And from what I understand from the flat earthers is that, there's water above. That's how it rains. And the only reason why the water doesn't flood us is because God has floodgates up there, and he opens the floodgates and lets the waters in. So that's how it rains. And of course, the sun, the moon, the stars are all inside of this firmament. And I guess I could. Let me move this right quick. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna move this picture. Okay. So there are. What was I finna go with this? Um, there's a lot of concerns when it comes to that. Uh, I was hoping to have some other people on here. And there was supposed to have been some other people that said that they were going to join once I did a flat Earth discussion. And I know this is last minute, so I might have to do this again because people need time to prepare and to know if they are going to be on the podcast. But like I said, if you really want to be on one, and if you give me a suggestion, keep in mind that I will be having a podcast every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So, and if you guys can't hear me, let me know. Let me know if you can't hear me. So, the evidence the reason why I think that the earth is a sphere, number one, I mean, we have videotape. I mean, not videotape. How old am I? We have video from the International Space Station. We have video from astronauts. We have people who have done like balloons and stuck like go cameras and cell phones to these balloons, and we can definitely see a spherical earth. There's so many reasons why, even to the point where there was a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher. um who was it? Was it Pythagoras? I'm not sure, but he stuck like poles in the grounds. Long story short, wooden poles in the ground, and he could tell that the Earth was a sphere because of the way the shadows curved and stuff like that. He said in the flat Earth, the shadow will go around uniform, like, you know what I'm saying? But because the shadows curved, you can tell that we're in a spherical Earth. There are other reasons why I believe the Earth is a sphere, because I mean, you could sit there on the dock of the bay, like the song goes, and let's just say if you're looking over at the ocean, and if a ship keeps sailing out and out and out, of course it's going to get smaller, but you're going to see it go over the curvature of the Earth. I mean, if the Earth was flat, you could get a powerful enough telescope and always see that ship. but that's not the case. I don't care how powerful of a telescope that you get, you're going to see the ship curve around the horizon, okay? Meaning if you stay stationary and the ship keeps going further and further out. So there's so many reasons why I believe the earth is spherical. And a lot of people, and this is the question I have, which is going to get into another discussion later. A lot of people who, let's just say, follow the Bible or read the Bible, believe in the Bible, um, they believe that, everything in the Bible is true. But the Bible does say, if you're a Christian or Jewish, it does say in the book of Genesis that the earth is a firmament. It's flat and it's a firmament. Of course, there's some other indications later on in the Bible, which kind of sort of, we'll get into that later. If you want me to get into that discussion, I can. But there's some other things that might kind of suggest that they believe that it was a spherical earth. But right there in the book of Genesis, it says that the earth is flat, there's a firmament, and God opens the floodgates to let the waters in, and all of these things. So I'm just wondering how, if you're, and this is a question. I'm not ridiculing anybody or anything, but I'm just saying, as a Christian or as a Jewish person, you believe in the Bible. The Bible says in the first book, not later on in Ecclesiastes or wherever, Proverbs, it's right there in the first book. It details like the creation story, and it says that the earth is flat. Now, your religion says so, but there are a number of Christian and Jewish people who believe the earth is a sphere. And I believe they are right. But how do you console these indifferences? You know what I'm saying? So that's just my question. And there's many apologetics, I'm sure, that people can use to console these indifferences, but I just want to know, um, what is your thought about it if you are a Christian or if you are Jewish or believe in the book of Genesis? I'll put it like that. Because a lot of flat earthers are using that as evidence. Ancient man used to believe this and this and that and that. And I spoke about this on the last podcast or private conversation that I had about how the ancient man thing is a bit of a fallacious argument. I've heard that from both sides, both religious and non religious people. They will say something like, there's, a lot of genders that exist. And I would ask them, okay, well, where's the evidence of that? And they was like, well, you do know the Native Americans used to believe a long time ago, and even in ancient China, they used to believe in many genders and all that stuff like that. But, what if ancient man believes something that they didn't agree with? You know what I'm saying? Certain things on the death penalty or the subjugation of women, things that we can, well, a lot of us would not agree to. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit of I call it the ancient man fallacy. So anyway, um, let's move on to the next thing. This gentleman right here, Dr. CB. Now, I think I mentioned this before. He never had a doctorate degree. He never had a medical license. But he claimed that he was a doctor. I don't know if it was a nickname or a self-proclaimed doctorate that he gave himself. And if you guys know anything about him, please join in. He proclaimed that every disease known to man, every disorder known to man can be cured by an all vegan diet. And he gives a lot of vegetables that you should and some that you shouldn't eat, like garlic, by what he says. I believe one time he said something like, don't eat garlic because if you have a wound and you put garlic on it, it won't heal. That's not exactly true. That's one of the what was it like? I won't say cures that we used when I was growing up in Mississippi, but we used to put like a little garlic on there, rub it in there, so it'll like kill the germs and the viruses and stuff like that. And all my cuts and bruises always heal perfectly. But he proclaimed a lot of stuff. He was like with HIV. At one point, I'm not sure. Please correct me, guys. I believe I heard him one time saying that viruses don't exist. They're just disorders in your body, and everything's caused by mucus. You know, um, and he was saying something. What was it? I wanted to do the video clips, but I couldn't find one that was pertinent to what I wanted to talk about. Plus, I didn't have time. That's the real reason. In the short time that I had, I didn't have time to splice together something that was pertinent to what I wanted to talk about. And you guys can fact check me on this. So please tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong because I want to be corrected. But anyway, what did he say about the viruses? And he was saying something like every time you get sick, what does your body do? It produces mucus. So he was like, well, you get rid of the mucus, you get rid of the disease altogether. But mucus, from my understanding, is just a response that your body does to help fight off the disease or the bacteria or whatever you got going on. You know what I'm saying? It isn't the disease itself. But he proclaimed that all meats contain mucus or cause mucus. Um, I believe at one point, yeah, like I said before, he claimed to cure a lot of people with HIV and AIDS and stuff like that. And they actually took him to court. And spoiler alert: the end result was that what was the end result? They pretty much couldn't find him guilty because he wasn't prescribing medicine. All he was doing was telling people to eat vegetables and stuff like that, and that's a food. So there's nothing he could do about it. There's nothing they could do about it. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't practicing medicine. He was just telling people advice on what to eat, which nothing illegal about that. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So. Um. hmm. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about it. What else? What else? We can move on, I guess. This might be a short thing if we don't have anybody to join in, and we could probably do this a little bit later. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and you want to join in, let me check comments. Yeah, I really got to tell you guys ahead of time. I got to get my schedule together. So, let me see. Where we go? We usually have at least 3 guests, but that's okay. We're going to soldier on. We're going to soldier on. Religion and spirituality. So here's a little picture or what I would call a diagram that somebody drew up, and that's their explanation. Kind of religion put put you in this bubble right here, and you can't do this or do that or explore things for yourself. All the answers are supplied by your holy books, by your preachers or your pastors, or the dogma that has been passed down. So they say that religion keeps you trapped and in a bubble. The spirituality can help you to explore the universe and whatever else exists in this, reality, whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, you can define religion, but I've never heard of a solid definition of spirituality. So, if you guys can define spirituality for me, I would really appreciate it. So we can know the difference between religion and spirituality. We can have a discussion on that. I really have no. I mean, religion could be defined as a set of beliefs, principles, and dogma used to, I guess, bring somebody to what they consider a higher relevance. And I think that's the best, like, mundane explanation because let me just say this about religion. A lot of people think because the largest two religions in the world is, well, the three largest religions in the world is Christianity. It has a little bit over 2 billion followers. Islam has a little bit over 1 billion followers. And then the next one is Hinduism. I think it's around 900 million followers. And that was a census that was done, I think, the last time in like 2012. So I'm not sure how many of those numbers have been going up and down. However, they kind of, because of those three popular religions, they kind of see religion in the same way that you have to have this God and or a set of gods, and they have to be all powerful and can do anything. And they created the universe and everything in it ex nihilo from nothing. And they love human beings for some reason, and they give human being all these rules to follow because they love them so much. And once human beings die, they go before these deities in this judgment type day. And you have to appease these gods by acting in a way which they had prescribed on earth before you died. And a lot of these religions have this binary sense of an afterlife. So if you appease the gods, then you go to this euphoric place of happiness and blissful existence. You know, some people call it heaven, some people call it Valhalla or whatever. But then on the other side, if you are not in the favor of this god or deities, then you will go to a place of eternal punishment or even short term punishment, usually referred to by the Judeo Christian religions called hell. Not every religion follows this criteria. Sometimes the discussion of how the earth began, some religions don't care about it. Some religions just care about, how you orchestrate your life on this world. Some of them don't even care about it appeasing the gods. You know what I'm saying? So religion can be defined in so many different ways. And like I said, the best definition I came up is just a bunch of, you know, rituals. Um, what else did I say? A bunch of rituals and other things used to for the individuals to reach what they consider to be a higher relevance. And I think that that is the most neutral definition that I can think of when it comes to religion. So, spirituality, I mean, religion itself is hard enough to pinpoint and have a universal definition of. Spirituality is even harder. I have no idea. And with each person, spirituality can be totally different. It can be the same. You have so many different avenues. And many people think that spirituality just has to do with a concept called pantheism, which pantheism is pretty much everything in the world is interconnected. And there are some organized religions like Hinduism that, or certain factions of Hinduism, that believe in this pantheistic type of theology. So it's just not spiritual people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just too broad in order for me to even attempt to have a definition. So those of you who are spiritual, please give me a definition of spirituality. And if you want to, you guys can give me a what you think is the difference between religion and spirituality. Again, if you want to join in, the link to this discussion is, it should be in the title. If you're on Facebook, you should see it up there. I'll say here's the link, and you guys can find it. And if you're on YouTube, you should be able to find it. Send me a message if you want to join in and discuss these things. Of course, I will. I am more than happy to send it to you. Okay. So, yes, religion and spirituality. Um, I'm gonna wait around a little bit and just kind of. I've been talking off the talking whatever, just freestyle so far. So, I'm kind of waiting for some people to join in. Excuse me. So usually, if I stick around to like 8 o'clock, that's when usually a lot of people are really getting off work because there's a lot of people in Mississippi that want to join in, or anybody in the Central Time Zone. And once I wait till 8 o'clock there, my time, it'll be 7 o'clock there. So I'm just kind of freestyling it for a minute until somebody can join in. Of course, if you have something to add to all of these, I would really appreciate it. I will say that there have been many other people other than Dr. Sebi who have made claims towards, like, oh, I can cure HIV, I can cure cancer. That's another thing they say it could cure. Um, all you have to do, according to Dr. Sebi, he said an alkalinity diet, increase the alkaline in your body. You could drink alkaline water. There are certain vegetables which will increase the alkalinity, and it will create an environment to where the viruses or the bacteria or the sickness or the mucus, whatever he wants to call it, it cannot thrive in your body. So, do we have any healthcare professionals here who would like to talk about this? Okay, I would love to hear from any healthcare professional on this. Um, of course, for those who are showing up, we're also talking about, is the Earth flat or is it a sphere? Flat or a sphere? There's a number of other concerns I have about this model as well, because, and I would get the pictures off the internet right now, but I want to kind of keep the audience retention in there. But if the Earth is flat, it's totally flat, and the sun and the moon go around like this, and they're uniform like that. How do you explain phases on the moon? You know what I'm saying? Like eclipses and different stuff like that. You know, because if it was the case, you have this round moon or whatever, and you see this shadow that's covering up the moon, it's always round as well. You know what I'm saying? So, how is this the case in a flat earth? I just want to know. Now, I know a lot of people will talk about gravity, and if the earth was flat and the closer you get to the center, it'll be harder to climb because gravity's harder. Well, according to the flat earthers, that gravity is uniform. And from what I understand, it's like the earth is constantly going up or something like that. And that's why we're stuck on this earth, because the earth is ascending to the heavens or something. I don't know. I might be not explaining this properly, but if you guys can explain it to me, if you are a believer in the flat earth, excuse me, let me know. Let me know. Um, we can also talk about, what do you call it, zodiacs and stuff like that. For people who believe, I've heard this from everybody. Oh, that's why I'm not compatible with that person, because that person's a Capricorn or a Leo or Sagittarius and all these things, and they say that that's the reason why they can't get along. Or a lot of times they will excuse certain crappy behavior that they have because they said that they're a certain type of person. However, none of us are three dimensional. I just want to, one dimensional, so to speak. None of us have one category, and from what I've seen from zodiacs, they'll say, well, yeah, he's compassionate yet firm, and he's endearing but yet shy. And I was like, yeah, everybody has a little bit of every personality there is. So I personally just don't see, like, proof into the zodiacs. You know what I'm saying? And every time something happens, somebody explained it. I don't know what they were talking about, but it's so pertinent. The way they talk about how it's like if you go to a barn and there's a broadside, and you take an arrow, bow and arrow, and you shoot the arrow, and wherever it lands, they draw the bullseye around that, wherever the arrow lands, and say, "Look, I hit the bullseye." Well, that's kind of the way it is with certain things like zodiac, from what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? You don't let the evidence lead you where it's supposed to. It's kind of like the zodiac says this, and you kind of trying to make it fit into whatever the zodiac says. And that's not the only thing. A lot of times when we have things like I don't know what that's saying. Oh, I know who that is. but excuse the sound in the background if you can hear it. Um, Things like what was I finna say before the noise started? Um, there's a number of things which people kind of try to fit into a square peg into a round hole, and you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys want to join in and tell me some things that people do like this, I don't know how it escaped me that fast. I'm really not staying focused today. Um, oh, like Nostradamus. Have you guys heard of him? Nostradamus was this guy, and he was about 400 years ago, and he supposedly made all these predictions, and people say that these predictions came true. And he said something like Hitler. I forget the. It's been a while since I've read these things, and to be honest, I just kind of skimmed through them because I was like, "What in the hell?" You know what I'm saying? Like this is not even connecting. Like one of them was like the Hitler. It speaks about Hitler, and they were like, "Oh, that means Hitler," and they were speaking about a river actually. And Nostradamus was one of those ones. I mean, back in those days, drugs, no type of drugs were illegal. So I mean, you could sit there and get high and say a bunch of stuff, and people, like I said, will take that arrow and shoot it on the side of the barn and draw a bullseye around where it lands. You know what I'm saying? So there are a number of things that people do like this. So I don't know. That's just how I feel about Zodiac right now. But if you have some evidence or some stories, um, I'd be glad to hear them. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have any evidence that you think supports the firmament right there, this little thing right here, if you have something that could support that, I would surely appreciate you joining in and letting me know. Let me see. Let me see. Um, I'm gonna stay on here for another. It is 7:41. I will stay here for another 19 minutes to make sure. Um, there's a number of things. Oh, I love requests, you guys. Whether you send it to me and inbox me on social media or let me know in person, I really appreciate it. And I think the next one that I will speak about, the requested topic that I've heard a few times and I've heard it recently, and one of my daughter's friends. Let me tell you how the story went. We were all around eating pizza, and I was asking them what toppings that they wanted me to order, and somebody was saying hamburger, and somebody was saying uh, pepperoni, and my daughter was kind of joking. It was like, I remember one time when my stepdad, which is my stepdaughter, who still stays with me, she was talking about me. She was like, I remember one time when he didn't even allow pork in the house because he saw it as evil because of his religion. He was a Muslim. And her friend was on the phone, and she was like, well, how did that come about? How did he become a Muslim? Was he born in a Muslim house? And it was like, no, he grew up Christian, you know, with strict Christian parents. And it was like, well, how did he become a Muslim? And I was telling her I was going to make a video about it, how I started off in the Nation of Islam. That's my first exposure to the religion of Islam, and where I went from there. So you guys will be getting a video from me. I don't know if you guys want me to do it live, I can, but I had planned on just doing a separate video that you guys can watch later. But if you guys want me to do it live, let me know. Maybe we could do one and it can segue into other things. So that's going to be my next video. There's another one that somebody wanted me to talk about. I know it's always movies. So if you guys have a suggestion, movie that has come out, I have not seen Deadpool, the new Deadpool movie. So don't ask me. Don't give me any spoilers. I know there's a lot of what would I say cameos from other people, and people said it's really good. So I have plans to watch it. I'm probably just gonna wait since I haven't seen it in all this time. Probably just gonna wait until it comes out on social media, not social media, streaming service. So, yeah, I'm probably just gonna wait. What else? What else? What else? What else? Movie reviews. If you have something on Netflix that you want me to watch, if you think that I'd be interested in it and want me to give an analysis of it, I certainly will. Um, Even older stuff, like somebody wanted to know the story, which I already did a live discussion on. I think for Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th. Um, I think that's when I did it. You know, it was a discussion of Star Wars versus Star Trek, and I did an explanation of how I got into both of those. I can do that, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I never did officially thank those. I think I need to put it in a post. You know, those who got on the podcast last time. My boy Lamar Hicks, Flavor in Your Ear podcast. My boy Marzeo Paler, he is going to be starting his own podcast. We haven't, well, he hasn't decided on a topic yet, but he will be starting pretty soon. Um, and my boy Fidelsky Milton. Who else joined in last time? Just the last podcast. Um, who was it? Well, Monica, was she in that? I'm not sure. Okay. The Southern Belle. um, but anyway, let's see. Check the comments right quick. Nope, 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 nope. Let me check it on here. No comments. You guys are really silent today. I had been cooking for a good little while, but I guess because I didn't tell you guys ahead of time that I couldn't get you guys to join in, and I apologize about that. So I know that we all live very busy lives, so I know that I will have to tell you guys ahead of time next time. Um, and another thing, I may be getting off a little bit earlier than I thought. But if you guys need me to get back on, so if you're watching this right now and it's 7:47, let's just say if I get off at 7:50 and at 8:30 you guys turn this on and be like, "Hey, I really want to talk about this." I can get back on. Not a problem. Not a problem. Cuz I usually have a window from 7 to 9 is when I usually have a block for a podcast. But since I'm getting off early, I can always turn this thing back on and continue on the discussion. So, yeah, I think I'm going to get off a little earlier. Like I said, the three topics are: is the earth flat or is it a sphere? What do you think about the firmament? What do you guys think about how it connects to the Bible? If you're a Christian or Jewish, the Bible says in the book of Genesis that this is how the earth, this is the nature of the earth. But if you believe the earth is a sphere, how do you console that with what the Bible says? Also, Dr. CB, what is your are you a fan of Dr. CB's work? Do you believe that all diseases, including cancer, HIV, herpes, can all that be cured with just a vegan diet and how alkalinity level in the body? Do you know? Well, what do you think is the difference between religion and spirituality? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Well, since we currently don't have any guests, I think I'm going to end this a little earlier. I appreciate those who are currently watching, and I appreciate those who will be watching later on. I love you guys. All right. If you guys have any topics for me for next week, or like I said, later on tonight, I may even, I don't know. I was thinking about doing the whole playing video games, or I might do the one like I told you guys where we watch a movie together and we comment as the movie goes on. And I'm going to have to, it won't be live, you know what I'm saying? Because there are certain restrictions that I'm learning about with a watch party on what I can and what I can't do. And the last time I tried to have a watch party, I got some copyright violation or something. I think that was just on YouTube. Facebook, I know you can do it through Messenger. You used to do a watch party through Facebook itself, but they changed their criteria on that. But if you guys want to do that, um, so let me give the shout outs, the in shout outs. Excuse me. My daughter, my daughter Vanara Scott, Vinara. Her name is Vanara. My name is Vinaris, Vinaris. She has a she does digital drawings. You can look her up there at Galaxy Studios 101, Lunar Art Galaxy. You can look up Everest Productions on YouTube, The Juice Weezer. Let me see. I always gives a shout out to my girl Lova Tia. She's still doing her thing. Barrington Marston's Productions. You can check out his new movie Abiding on Tubi. He has some other movies coming out pretty soon. As well, my boy Lamar Hicks. He's always a guest on this show. Flavoring Your Ear podcast is usually every Saturday around 10 o'clock. You can hit him up at these contacts down here. He's still doing a number of things. So if you need some work done, just ask him what he does. I have my book still available. Excuse me. They're available on Amazon right now. So if you go on Amazon and search up Planet Furball and the Heretic Kitten, you'll find that book. Also, if you search up Blackjack and the Beanstalk, you will find my book. My other book, Blackjack and the Beanstalk, is pretty much an updated urban black people's version of Jack and the Beanstalk. It doesn't have any magic, quote unquote, magical beans and ogres and all this magical stuff. It's a more modern day updated version. Planet Furball and the Heretic Kitten is about a planet. The two primary species are cats and rats, and the cats are the dominant race on this planet, and the rats are supposed to be seen as I won't say inferior, but the lesser one. And there's a reason behind it, mostly because there was a religion created by cats called Gatoism, and they have a whole origin story behind that, and it supports why they think that the rats are inferior to cats. So, you guys can look at that book. On the weekend, like I mentioned, I got Sunday Night Fun here, but I play several video games from the 80s and 90s. You guys can watch and give me tips on how to play those games. If you need to contact me, let me see what else I got up here. If you need to contact me, you can always contact me at KillaKrane Productions, KillaKrane Productions at gmail.com. You can look up on my YouTube channel. The name of my YouTube channel is KillaKrane Productions, KillaKrane Productions. And you can also hit me up on Instagram at Vinaris KillaKrane Productions. That's Vinaris KillaKrane Productions. Like I said again, I appreciate those who have been watching and who will be watching. All right. Let me know if you guys need me to get back on here. So I'm not logging off. So I'll stay on here about till 8:30. Well, not on here, but if you guys want to continue this discussion at 8:30, 9 o'clock, just let me know. All right, guys, take it easy.